BWI Daily Edition on location. We are here because we got a chance to meet the freshman class from 2021 and give you some of our feedback about what we heard from some of those players. So, Greg, I want to start with you. Who did you talk to? And who were the players that kind of stood out to you today when we were meeting them for the first time?
Yeah, it's interesting because we've spent so much time, guys, recently focused on the early enrollees in the class of 2022. And this group has a lot of guys getting ready to play, and some that already have, and Kalen King, Kobe King, and some others. But, you know, it was kind of refreshing to get a chance to stand in front of Christian Bayou and get to know him a little bit better. Yeah. We haven't heard from him since he was a high school recruit. And I was I know you guys were too. I won't spend too much time on him because I know you both got to talk to him. Very impressed by him, very impressed by all these guys. Spent a little bit of time with Jordan Vandenberg. I can see, it's very clear to me why he's been able to be a guy they think can make a move quickly. And same thing with Kobe King. Obviously, he played a little bit last year, guys, but he said that the defense during spring practice this year just came to him so much quicker than it did a year ago, and I think we'll end up seeing that on the field.
So who are the guys that you had a chance to speak to? What stood out to you, Nate?
All right, so I've got things that people care about and then things that nobody cares about, but I care about. So I'm gonna break them into two. The first one that people care about is Zakili Lee. Yeah. Just a very confident young man. Talked about the transition, obviously, from corner, the things that he picked up at that position all of last year, and then how that's translated to safety, and just really feeling good. I mean, somebody asked him what Penn State fans can expect from him, and he said interceptions, like the just period.
Good confidence, yeah.
And then the things that aren't interesting to everybody else, but are to me, is Christian Bayou can't make money on NIL in the United States because he's on a student visa from Canada.
Right.
Which
I'm glad you asked him about that because he mentioned that.
Fascinating.
That's a weird rule, and that's an interesting situation because there's a couple of guys that are like that on the team that are international students and international players. BWI Daily Edition coming to you from the loudest part of campus as there is behind us the expansion of the Lash Building, and over here is a road that is the main access for said stuff. So we'll make sure that you can hear us, and we'll give you a tour of all that stuff later once it's all completed. But one of the things that stood out to me, and you mentioned Jordan Vandenberg and Christian Bayou, guys that had to grow up early and guys that had interesting journeys to Penn State. Of course, Vandenberg is from South Africa, moved to America when he was, just a kid, started playing football in 10th grade, but that level of maturity you see, and Christian Bayou talked about that, where he had to grow up pretty quickly. His parents sent him off to America at 16 years old, so that maturity shows up as a person, and you just get this quiet confidence from him, but also it shows up on the football field, and I'm very intrigued to see what he has for us in store in the future. Just a couple of minutes talking to him, a very self-possessed sort of guy. Which one of you guys talked to the King brothers? Because they were not somebody that I got a chance to talk to.
I had the chance to talk to both of them. You know, it's interesting. Kobe King said he didn't want to talk about a question that was asked about whether they always were guaranteed to play at the same school. Kalen King was more than happy to talk about it because it was Kobe who at a younger age said that he never wanted to play with his brother. You know, he was open. He was the one that was open. I shouldn't say never. That's not what he said. He said Kobe King was open to the idea, I guess, of them not playing together. And then he said as they got older, it kind of became clear that this is where they both wanted to be. Kobe seeing the stadium and James Franklin, Brent Pry, and the history of this place really sold him on it. It seems like Kalen may have been sold on it for quite some time, talking about his relationship with Terry Smith and things like that. So, we heard James Franklin guys talk a lot about how mature those two are, and it comes true. It really does. Penn State fans, as they get to hear from them, I think are going to be very impressed.
We talked about this on the BWI Daily Edition on Monday, so check that show out. That there's a lot of, I think, mature guys in this class where they're already contributing on the football field. We're getting to meet them the first time, but there's a bunch of guys that are either projected to be starters or guys that are going to be in the depth of rotation. And another guy that I just want to highlight here is Landon Tangwall was exactly who I expected him to be. That was a great conversation. And of course, you can check out, there's too much stuff to talk about right now as we are here, so you can check it out, bluewhiteillustrated.com. We'll be writing all that stuff up. You can check out the full interview with Christian Bayou on our YouTube channel if you're watching that here, and make sure you subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss the BWI Daily Edition. For these two guys, Nate Bauer, Greg Pickle, I'm Thomas Frank Carr. We will talk to you next week because I'm on vacation. Talk to you then.